traditional houses are cellular. The plans are often disjointed. The room-to-room sort of enfilade of spaces doesn't exist so much.
Fundamentally goes back to the use of these buildings in, 1920s, Victorian, whatever they might be. Is, kitchens were spaces to be hidden away and used by staff. They didn't have aspect to the garden. They weren't placed at the heart of the home.
And I think that was kind of fundamental in the conversations we had at the beginning.
Although we absolutely loved the house, the one thing it was missing was a big open plan family living space, kitchen, dining, living. And we knew, having 3 young kids, that we spend most of our day feeding and watering, and the kitchen really is the heart of where we live. So it was really important to us. And I mean, gosh, what a space to live in. We absolutely love it.
Because the extension is quite large, we were quite conscious of how do you fit such a large extension to such a large house, but make it feel as though, spatially at least, they're well linked and flowing and easy to use. It's not a sort of architectural masterpiece in a way that you can't inhabit it. It's got to be livable.
Long views through the property was also something we were trying to achieve, because it just makes navigation and circulation completely legible and quite a pleasant exploration of the spaces.
Yeah, it means the plan unfolds. As you take a journey through one space to the next, you start to appreciate what's happening ahead of you. It's a slightly slow burn introduction.
Yeah, it unravels itself as you go through the plan, rather than front door, I'm here, wow. Sort of, actually it's a progression through the spaces, and the corridor spaces they're generous, but they're not huge. You don't get the same height you get in here. They're quite confined spaces, and certainly, when you arrive in the sort of main kitchen dining space, it is a sort of a release, and I think that sort of just makes it feel even slightly grander, because you compress and then it releases itself, which is certainly something we were trying to achieve.
Extension is predominantly characterised with its big kind of pyramid roofs, but I think it kind of stems back to the original house, which has these expansive areas of red pan-tile roofs from the arts and crafts. It has gables, it has hips, it has all these features that allow it some expression, I guess. And so we kind of decided there was something to play on using those, I guess, architectural elements.
We were always trying to create something characterly different, but actually compositionally, red as a whole.
That kind of harmony between the new and old is probably comes into a lot of work that we do. I think it's more about enhancing it, making careful alterations so that you only really improve things. You don't ever sort of take away something that is actually of value. You only want to add a layer, a very fine layer, kind of over the top of what's already there.
The house is important, obviously that is the context, but the people are what you're trying to reflect in the project. The house is the house, it's sort of a fixed thing, you're trying to eke out that life that's going to be in there.
We knew that the space that we wanted to add on would be, by necessity, quite a modern space, and I was worried about how the two parts would marry up, and I think Somner did a brilliant job of connecting the two spaces. It flows really well, and it doesn't feel... It feels like this piece was always meant to be here, actually.
I think that's always a particularly rewarding part of the role of an architect, Everyone lives in sort of, on a drawing, it's all perfection. The bit that we can't add is the life, the kids' toys, all that sort of stuff. And there is a huge reward in seeing people living and enjoying the architecture.
It's really cool to come back and be sat here in their kitchen, doing this interview. I mean, that doesn't happen every day of the week. It's pretty special in itself.